everyone, today I'll be reviewing this new Japanese anime show dropped on Netflix. It's called Super Crooks, and this show is based on Mark Millar comic book about this super villain. So I never read this comic book. I knew nothing about it. So when I start watching this show, and when this show start giving you reference about Jupiter Legacy, I was like, whoa, that is so interesting. I thought Jupiter Legacy was very interesting watch for me. Like the beginning of the show was a little slow, but at the end of that show overall, it was a good watch. It wasn't a waste of time or anything. So when I saw this show was giving you a reference from Jupiter Legacy, I was like, oh, that is very interesting because I had no idea this show is based on Mark Millar comic book. So what do I think about this show? So I thought this show was very entertaining, honestly. This show was very interesting and entertaining watch for me. But however, I didn't like some of the stuff this show, some of the choices this show makes, the way it was like done for the character and way it was going. Also, it wasn't overall like I didn't ruin the show, but I just didn't like all this thing, which I'll get to in a second. But however, I really like how this show ends with, oh, it was very shocking, especially the finale episode is really good. So I really like the center actor, Johnny, his character. You see him like in the episode 1, how he gets his power, and how he actually kills all these people in the episode 1. So that is where I guess, although the show is about super villain, which I get that, but this show, the way it was made, like there is no good to these people. Like often it can be hard to watch when you are watching a super villain story, like so much you can go. After that you need some good in people, otherwise it just doesn't work. That's why I wouldn't say this show was overall great. Like it's not a 9 out of 10 show, but it ain't bad either. Like it's very entertaining show. But this show, all the destruction this shows you, some of the stuff happened in the episode 1, 2, 3, episode 4. Oh my god, the whole city was being destroyed in that episode. Although I get it, it's animated. But can you imagine if it was in real life, how you would feel about when you see the whole city was destroyed, nothing else. Like, people are not stopping them. Although I think that was very interesting in this show that the superhero, whenever into your trouble or something, they don't come right away. They're like on call. And I was like, that's very interesting. As I was saying, it's definitely very enjoyable, like entertaining show. It's just sometimes it puts you in odd position, like all the destruction, all the people dead in the first episode. And sometimes this character, they don't feel anything about all this. I mean, like they are villain, what will they feel? But there is anybody good here to counterpart them. Although his girlfriend Casey, she tried to stop him, Johnny. Johnny, this movie, yeah, it's quite similar to Ocean 11. It's a heist movie. He just want to do his next heist and he doesn't want to stop it. I guess that is how his story is. Still, he's very charming character. All his sidekicks, they're also interesting. They don't get a lot of like screen time or do a lot of stuff. Like they are doing stuff, but you don't get to know them in detail. So you get to know them, Kelsey or Johnny. That means I thought Kelsey's power in the episode, like toward the last episode, she's like, her power is kind of like Charles, right? From the X-Men universe, of course. Her power is kind of like that. She created all this thing. I was like, oh my god, that is so scary. But she is a good, I guess, in this show. I guess super villain things are not my thing. I don't always like it, but it was interesting watch. That's why I suppose I don't like when you try to show me super villain, but you don't show me counter good part. That is why I did not like Brightburn, that movie Sony made. It was super flopped at the box office. Because in that movie, that boy, although his power is parallel to Superman, but he doesn't have any good in him, that you don't feel connected or nothing. Because end of the day, these villains only work when there's someone there to make you feel like, oh, they're just villain. That is why when you watch Joker, there's a Batman who will stop him, In this show, there is some hero, I'm not saying, but they're not like... So this show, it tried so hard to be like Boys, but Boys is one of the best superhero show out there, honestly. It's so good. because in the boys, all the superhero, they are corrupted, but there is also good guy, good superhero, they're trying to do best, but they can't. So there is the balance, everything need balance, otherwise when you watch it as an audience, you'll ooh. That means I thought still it was very entertaining watch for me. It's definitely worth checking if you like this kind of story. But overall, isn't like great storytelling here. Like neither was in Jupiter Legacy, I suppose. But the last, the last part for that show was really good. Although that show is cancelled, all the CGI didn't look good. I don't know, all the money went for that show, Jupiter Legacy, because that show reportedly cost to make $200 million. But when you see the show, you're like, some of the CGI ain't good. But the last episode, like the last part of Jupiter Legacy, was really good. I'm glad I checked it out. This one also, I'm glad I checked out Jupiter Legacy. Anyway, that was my thought on this show. Let me know in the comment, what do you think about this show? Did you had a good time watching? And if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other review on Netflix show. And please take care.